Imagine this: you awaken to a world that seems subtly, yet profoundly altered, not in its physical form, but in the way your mind interprets it. A persistent, almost spectral image flickers at the edges of your consciousness. A face, a voice, a presence that refuses to be banished. It's not a recent memory, not a vivid recollection of a loved one. It's a phantom, a whisper from the past, a figure that, despite your best efforts, remains indelibly etched into the very fabric of your being. You find yourself replaying conversations that occurred years ago, analyzing fleeting glances, dissecting words spoken in passing. It's as if this individual has planted a seed within your psychic landscape, a seed that continues to sprout, to grow, to demand attention. They are the uninvited guest at the most private of your mental gatherings, a silent observer in the theater of your thoughts. This is not a simple matter of nostalgia, a fleeting sentimentality. This is a persistent, unsettling presence, a nagging question that gnaws at the edges of your sanity. You wonder, with a rising sense of unease, why? Why this particular person? Why this relentless intrusion into the sacred space of your inner world? Herein lies the paradox. The duration of your interaction with this individual may have been minimal, a fleeting encounter, a brief exchange, yet their imprint on your psyche is profound, enduring, almost unnerving. You may have moved on, built a life, forged new connections, but they remain a spectral sentinel guarding a hidden gateway within your mind. Is this merely a quirk of memory, a random firing of neural synapses, or is there something more profound, something more unsettling at play? Is it possible that certain individuals, through some mysterious alchemy, become inextricably linked to our psychic core, that they tap into a hidden reservoir of our being, leaving an indelible mark that transcends time and space? You wrestle with this question, a disquieting sense of helplessness creeping into your thoughts. You are the architect of your own mind, the master of your own domain. Yet this person, this phantom, seems to operate outside your conscious control. They are a rogue element, a wild card in the carefully constructed narrative of your life. Is it a form of psychic residue, a lingering energy from a past encounter, or does it point to something deeper, something more fundamental about the nature of human connection, about the hidden currents that flow beneath the surface of our conscious awareness? The question gnaws at you. What is the nature of this connection? What unseen forces bind us to certain individuals, even when logic and reason dictate otherwise? Is it a matter of unfinished business, a lingering emotional thread, or something far more primal? You find yourself questioning the very boundaries of yourself, the limits of your autonomy. If another person can exert such a persistent influence on your inner world, where does your own agency begin and end? What unseen forces are shaping your thoughts, your emotions, your very sense of self? This is not a mere intellectual exercise. This is a confrontation with the unsettling reality that our minds are not isolated fortresses, but permeable membranes, susceptible to the influence of others, even those we barely know. The weight of this realization settles upon you, a heavy cloak of existential unease, and so you are left with the great question, the question that echoes through the corridors of your mind. Why do certain people, despite all attempts to forget, never truly leave? What hidden truths lie buried beneath the surface of this persistent psychic presence? What secrets are they guarding? What unresolved conflicts are they mirroring? The answers, you sense, lie deep within the unexplored territories of the human psyche, a labyrinth waiting to be navigated. What dark currents and hidden pathways are responsible for this phenomenon? And perhaps most importantly, what does it mean to be haunted by a ghost born not of death, but of lingering, unresolved life? The answer, as Carl Jung might suggest, lies in the realm of the shadow, the unconscious repository of all that we repress, deny, or fail to integrate into our conscious selves. These individuals, these persistent phantoms, often embody aspects of our shadow, reflecting back to us qualities we find disturbing, unacceptable, or simply unfamiliar. They become living mirrors, reflecting the hidden landscapes of our own psyches. Perhaps they possess a trait we secretly admire but fear to embrace, a boldness we lack, a vulnerability we repress, or perhaps they trigger a past trauma, a wound that refuses to heal, a buried conflict that demands resolution. Whatever the reason, their presence acts as a psychic irritant, a constant reminder of the unresolved aspects of our being. Nietzsche, with his concept of the Übermensch, might argue that these individuals challenge our complacency, forcing us to confront our limitations and strive for self-overcoming. They are the goads that prick our ego, the unwelcome messengers urging us to transcend our current state of being. Their persistence, then, becomes a form of psychic pressure, a catalyst for growth, however painful. Consider Schopenhauer's philosophy of the will, the blind, irrational force that drives all existence. These individuals may tap into this primal energy within us, stirring desires, fears, or longings that lie dormant beneath the surface of our conscious control. They become conduits for the will, channeling its chaotic power into our ordered lives, disrupting our carefully constructed sense of self. Huxley, in The Doors of Perception, explored the idea that our minds are filters, selectively blocking out vast swathes of reality. These individuals perhaps bypass these filters, penetrating our defenses and exposing us to aspects of reality we would rather ignore. They become unwelcome glimpses into the unfiltered chaos of existence, reminders of the vast, unknowable universe that lies beyond the confines of our conscious awareness. Sartre, with his emphasis on radical freedom and responsibility, might argue that these individuals represent unfinished projects, unresolved choices, paths not taken. They are the ghosts of our potential selves, haunting us with the weight of our own possibilities. Their presence serves as a constant reminder of the burden of freedom, the agonizing awareness that we are the sole authors of our own existence. Viktor Frankl, a survivor of the Holocaust, spoke of the human search for meaning, the innate drive to find purpose in the face of suffering. These individuals, perhaps, become entangled in our search for meaning, representing a challenge to our values, a questioning of our beliefs. They force us to confront the fundamental questions of existence. Who are we? Why are we here? And what is the meaning of our lives? The hidden force at play, then, is not merely a matter of memory or emotion, but a fundamental aspect of the human condition. It is the interplay between our conscious and unconscious minds, the constant negotiation between our desires and fears, the ongoing struggle to define ourselves in a world of infinite possibilities. These individuals, these persistent phantoms, become unwitting players in this drama, their presence a constant reminder of the unresolved tensions that lie at the heart of our being. They are the echoes of our own internal conflicts, the shadows cast by the hidden landscapes of our souls. And as the tension builds, the question remains, what are we to do with these ghosts? How do we reconcile ourselves to their persistent presence? And what can we learn from the unsettling truths they reveal? This persistent psychic presence, this spectral echo of another soul, does not remain confined to the ethereal realms of our thoughts. It bleeds into the tangible world, subtly warping our perceptions, subtly influencing our decisions, subtly rewriting the narrative of our lives. It becomes an unseen architect, reshaping the very foundations of our reality. Consider the insidious power of cognitive biases. The anchoring effect, for instance, predisposes us to rely heavily on the first piece of information offered, the anchor when making decisions. This persistent individual, by virtue of their constant presence, becomes an anchor in our mental landscape, a fixed point of reference that distorts our judgment and colors our perceptions. Their words, their actions, their very essence become imbued with an exaggerated significance, casting a long shadow over our thoughts and actions. Neurologically, the brain's remarkable plasticity allows for the creation of robust neural pathways associated with repeated thoughts and emotions. The more we dwell on this individual, the more deeply entrenched their presence becomes in our neural circuitry. They become a neural lodestone, a magnetic pole around which our thoughts and feelings orbit. Their influence becomes a self-perpetuating cycle, a feedback loop that reinforces their hold on our psyche. Culturally, we are conditioned to believe in the profound significance of human connection, the enduring power of relationships. This individual, by virtue of their persistent presence, taps into this deep-seated belief, amplifying their importance and magnifying their influence. We attribute meaning to their actions, seeking hidden messages, searching for a deeper understanding of their impact on our lives. We become trapped in a labyrinth of interpretation, perpetually seeking answers in their spectral presence. The consequences of this unseen influence are profound and far-reaching. It can lead to emotional turmoil, a constant state of unease, a sense of being haunted by an invisible force. It can distort our relationships, making us project our unresolved issues onto others, creating a cycle of misunderstanding and conflict. It can stifle our creativity, limiting our ability to think freely, to explore new possibilities, to embrace the unknown. We become prisoners of our own minds, bound by the invisible chains of unresolved conflicts. Our thoughts become repetitive, our emotions predictable, our actions constrained. We lose our sense of spontaneity, our capacity for joy, our ability to fully inhabit the present moment. We become shadows of our former selves, haunted by the ghosts of our past. The urgency of breaking free from this unseen trap becomes palpable. We realize that our mental freedom, our emotional well-being, our very sense of self is at stake. We must reclaim our autonomy, rewrite the narrative of our lives, and confront the shadows that hold us captive. But how? How do we navigate the labyrinth of our own minds, confront these spectral presences, and break free from the invisible chains that bind us to the past? The answer, as we shall see, lies in a radical shift in perspective, a willingness to confront the darkness within, and a commitment to reclaiming our inner power. The path to liberation begins with a radical shift in perspective, a willingness to challenge the assumptions that have kept us bound to the past. We must recognize that these persistent individuals are not external forces, but reflections of our own inner world, mirrors reflecting back to us the unresolved aspects of our being. Instead of viewing them as intruders, we must see them as messengers, bearers of hidden truths, guides leading us toward self-discovery. We must confront the emotions they evoke, the fears they trigger, the desires they stir within us. We must delve into the depths of our own psyches, explore the hidden landscapes of our unconscious, and confront the shadows that lurk within. Counterintuitively, we must embrace the discomfort, the unease, the pain that their presence evokes. These emotions are not signs of weakness, but signals of unresolved conflict, opportunities for growth, catalysts for transformation. We must learn to sit with these emotions, to observe them without judgment, to allow them to reveal their hidden messages. This is not a passive process, but an active rebellion against the forces that seek to control our minds. We must reclaim our agency, assert our autonomy, and rewrite the narrative of our lives. We must choose to define ourselves, to create our own meaning, to embrace our own unique path. History is replete with examples of individuals who broke free from the constraints of their past, who defied the expectations of their time, who forged their own paths to self-discovery. Consider the Stoic philosophers who embraced adversity as an opportunity for growth, who found freedom in self-control, who cultivated inner peace in the face of chaos. Or consider the existentialists who embraced the absurdity of existence, who found meaning in their own choices, who created their own values in a world without inherent purpose. These individuals, these rebels, understood that true freedom lies not in escaping the past, but in confronting it, in integrating it into the present, in transforming it into a source of strength. They understood that the ghosts of the past are not to be feared, but to be embraced, to be understood, to be transformed. We too can become rebels, architects of our own destinies, masters of our own minds. We can choose to break free from the invisible chains that bind us to the past, reclaim our inner power, and build a new way of thinking, a new way of being. We can choose to embrace the shadows, confront the ghosts, and rewrite the narrative of our lives. The ultimate truth, the profound revelation that pierces through the veil of illusion, is this: the people who never leave our minds are not external entities, but fragments of ourselves, reflections of our own inner world. They are the echoes of our unresolved conflicts, the shadows of our repressed desires, the mirrors of our hidden selves. They are not haunting us, they are calling us home. They are not tormenting us, they are guiding us toward wholeness. They are not enemies, they are allies in our journey of self-discovery. This understanding shatters the illusion of separation, the belief that we are isolated beings, adrift in a sea of external forces. We realize that we are interconnected, that our inner world is a reflection of the outer world, that our thoughts and emotions shape our reality. The persistent presence of these individuals becomes a powerful symbol of our own inner potential, a reminder of the vast, unexplored territories of our being. They are the keys to unlocking our hidden strengths, the guides leading us toward our true selves. The struggles we have faced, the pain we have endured, the ghosts that have haunted us are not meaningless trials, but essential steps in our journey of self-discovery. They are the catalysts that have shaped us, the forces that have forged our character, the experiences that have made us who we are. We are not victims of our past, but architects of our future. We are not bound by our limitations, but empowered by our potential. We are not defined by our shadows, but illuminated by our light. The paradigm shift is complete. We no longer see these individuals as external forces, but as integral parts of our own being. We no longer fear their presence, but embrace their guidance. We no longer seek to escape the past, but to integrate it into the present. We emerge from this journey of self-discovery, transformed, empowered, and whole. We understand that the ghosts that haunted us were not external demons, but internal allies guiding us toward our true selves. We realize that the people who never leave our minds are not burdens, but blessings, reminders of our own infinite potential, echoes of the universe within. And as we embrace this ultimate truth, we find ourselves no longer haunted, but inspired, no longer bound, but free, no longer lost, but found. We are home.